Hello and welcome back to the Air Armoury. I'm JRH and today I'm going to be doing a book review of Webley Air Pistols, Their History and Development by Gordon Bruce. Regular viewers of the Air Armoury will have seen this book before, as I briefly showed it and spoke about it in my video on the Webley Senior Air Pistol. I'll put a link in the description below to that. But this is such a good book, I thought it deserved more than a fleeting mention, and I've been thinking of doing some airgun book reviews, so thought this would be a good one to start with. So, Webley Air Pistols, or to give it its full title, Webley Air Pistols, Their History and Development, is by a man named Gordon Bruce. He is a professional illustrator, but also has an interest in Webley handguns, and from the quick bit of research I did, it looks like he's also written a book called Webley & Scott Automatic Pistols, as well as another one about Webley revolvers. The book is published by Hale Books. Now, unusually, there is no kind of prologue or introduction or anything. It pretty much just goes straight into it. However, the first two models of the book, the Whiting pistol from 1910 that you can see there, and the Johnson and Fern prototype from 1924, were not commercially available guns, and they were experimental prototypes. So they themselves are essentially the kind of the background, as they were the developmental pistols leading up to the first commercially available pistol, which was the Mark I, produced from 1924 onwards. Now, if I turn to the contents page, you can see the models that are covered. There's the Whiting and the Johnston and Fern prototypes and the Mark I that we've already seen. And as well as that, there are also the Mark II Target, Junior, Senior, Mark I New Model, Senior New Model, Junior Model Series 2, Premier, Junior Mark II, Premier Mark II, Premier Mark III, Hurricane, Typhoon and Tempest. And then, as you can see, there are also some other interesting bits after that, but I'll come back to those in a few minutes. All of the pistols have similar information about them, so I'll just show you one to give you an idea, and that one is going to be the New Model Senior, as that's the one that I'm most familiar with. As I flick through, you can see that there's a lot of text and photos. This section is largely about the history and development of it. Here you have some information and photos of the original boxes, information about variations as the pistol went on. There's a lot of technical drawings. These ones that you can see here are in relation to developments in the piston seal. It has here a very handy list of modifications with the dates, which are fully explained in the text, with lots of comparison photos, some of which you can see here. There's then information about cased versions, and towards the end there is the cross-section drawing you can see here, and specifications such as dimensions, velocity, years of manufacture and serial number range. And there's also a components list here which relates to this excellent parts diagram over the page. Now, as you can see, the book is very comprehensive, as it has that kind of depth for all the pistols featured. And in all, the book has 226 photos and over 70 illustrations. Now, all the photos are black and white. Obviously it would have been nice to have colour photos, but that actually doesn't really detract from it that much, and all the photos that are in here were taken specifically for use in this book. As you saw from the contents earlier on, as well as the pistols, the book also contains some other really good information at the back, namely on Webley pellets and pellet tins, target holders, oil dispensers, spares, and quite a lot of information on the old Webley factories that the pistols were actually made in. And then right at the end there is some data on comparative testing of the pistols, and a list of the patents that Webley held in Britain. Now, the book was published in 2001, and this was one of the original 2001 versions. It was reprinted in 2008, but as far as I'm aware that was just a straight reprint rather than it being a revised or updated edition, and because of that it does make it slightly out of date. The last gun featured in here is the Webley Tempest, and that says that it's currently under manufacture as of 2001. That pistol though was discontinued in 2005, and then it was re-released as the Webley Centennial Edition in 2010. There are also a couple of guns not featured, such as the break barrel version of the Typhoon, made from 2006 onwards, and the Electo, made from 2009 onwards. That being said though, I don't know how well those couple of pistols would have fitted in with the others in this book. Both of those guns are largely made of plastic and were both made in Turkey, not England like the old ones, and they both deviate from the classic Webley barrel over cylinder spring piston action. So really I think die-hard fans of the old Webley pistols will probably be glad that this book was written when it was rather than now. So having explored the content, I just wanted to briefly touch on the physical book itself. It is 28 centimetres high, 22 centimetres wide and 2 centimetres thick. It's a hardback, and as far as I'm aware it was only ever published as a hardback. I can't find any reference to a paperback, and it has a dust jacket over the plain black cover underneath. It has 212 pages, and they are really nice thick glossy pages. It really is a good quality book. So there you've seen inside Webley Air Pistols, Their History and Development by Gordon Bruce. Now I know there's a lot of information out there on the internet through dedicated websites and a wealth of knowledge amongst the shooting community on forums and things, but it can be difficult to find exactly what you're looking for, and even more difficult to verify it once you've found it. And I do love a good reference book, and this one really does include everything you could want to know about the Webley pistols, as the name suggests. Now, it's definitely the kind of book that you're just going to dip into every now and again if you want to look something up, or if you own one of the pistols featured in it. It was invaluable to me when I was researching and dating my Webley Senior pistol. By its nature, it's quite a specialist book, so if you only have a passing interest in air guns, or you don't own one of the pistols featured in it, you might find it's a bit too specialist. If, on the other hand, though, you do have one of the pistols in it, or you have a interest in the kind of historical aspect of air guns, as I do, then it is an excellent book and I would highly recommend it. Whilst it's not completely up to date, as I said earlier, I really don't think that's going to be a big issue for most of the people who are going to be buying this book. If you would like to own a copy of this yourself, it is still available, albeit maybe not as readily as it once was. Before I made the video I had a quick look on the internet and I could only find it in stock at one of the big online retailers, although all the marketplaces and on leading online auction site they did have a fair number of copies. The RRP is £35, and whilst there are already some ludicrously priced copies out there, there's still enough at a reasonable price of between £30 and £40, which seems to be the going rate regardless of whether it's new or used. To assist anyone find the book, I will put the ISBN number in the description below. So thanks for watching, be sure to like, comment and subscribe to the Air Armoury, and until next time, keep your arms in the air.